Hey guys, Pete here, HVAC Greatness. I think you're going to like this one. So is your price too high? Or is there something else going on? I want to talk to you, and I'm going to use this, let me use a couple of examples here to kind of explain how the human mind works and why you feel like, because you're right there in that interaction, that Pete, you don't understand. The customers really think this is too high. Sometimes it's not that at all. Sometimes they don't respect you. Respect is a real close cousin to trust. How can they trust somebody who they don't respect? And how can they respect somebody who doesn't respect themselves? So when you're given that price, are you giving them that price with that body language of, ooh, they're going to think this is too high? And whether you realize you're doing that or not, you're doing it. So back in the Army, I'll explain this real quick. We had different levels of rank, right? E1, E2, E3, E4, E5, E6. Well, by the time you make about an E5, generally you're put in charge of a squad, a group of people who are E4 and below. And sometimes within the group, somebody would get promoted. And this was the case. There was a guy, I think we call him Klitz, short for Klitzner or something like that. He had gotten promoted, and all of a sudden he was telling everybody who used to be his buddy, used to be buddies with, what to do. And the guys just didn't respect him. They said, we're not doing that. You know, whatever, Klitz, right? And he had a hard time. And so I remember that case, but then I remember another case where I was in Germany, and they brought in a new sergeant. Nobody knew anything about this guy. And he came in the very first formations when all the soldiers are lined up, he had them locked down. There's a position called parade rest, which is the next down from attention, right? And he's drilling them, and this is how it's going to be here. And let me tell you something, in my squad, we don't tolerate this. And I remember all of us were thinking, we are in trouble, right? And so, because we didn't know him like we knew Klitz coming up, we didn't know really who he was. And so that lack of knowledge put us at a disadvantage. Well, after a day or so of this, he backed off, and he would start joking with us and everything else. And all the guys went from thinking, man, this guy's going to be an ass, to, wow, this guy's cool, right? So they went to liking somebody because they respected them. Versus Klitz, they didn't respect. They liked him before, then they didn't respect him, and so the like went away. They started to despise him. So that was one story. So if your customers, before they meet you, don't know you, how do you earn that respect? Well, you don't lock them down in parade rest, but you do put an air on about yourself that you have that self-confidence. Relationships are relationships, and all of this stuff is kind of interconnected. So let me share this with you. A man and a woman. A woman will quickly tell you one of the most attractive qualities that she can find in a man is a man who has self-confidence. And she can tell his self-confidence by the way he carries himself. And if she's not sure, she will test him. If he fails the test, he's out. It's all happening back here in the subconscious. And so back in the late 90s, early 2000s, there was a group of nerds, geeks, who had no self-confidence, who did terrible with women, who decided to study this. And so what they would do is they would learn how to carry themselves in a way of self-confidence and to see if they could have success with entering into a relationship with a woman that typically would be out of their league. And you know what the ironic thing was? It worked. We had total geeks who learned to carry themselves a certain way and learned to pass those tests that were thrown out. And they started entering into relationships. Now, ultimately it changed their self-worth because they began to have the success. They began to believe what they had initially created. They used to call that fake it until you make it. Maybe you've heard of these groups. It was big back in the late 90s, early 2000s. There's probably still people out there doing this kind of stuff. But they teach, guys without the self-confidence how to have that confidence. Well, the relationship was good because she respected him, because he respected himself. I mean, how else better to judge a person? How much better is it to judge a person based not on what somebody thinks of them, but what they think about themselves? Because who knows you better than you? Because if you don't even trust yourself, you don't even believe in yourself, why should I? Right? And so this enters into business. If you don't carry yourself with a respect for your own price, with an understanding of the value that you're bringing, if you belittle that, if you don't believe in your own services, if you don't believe in what you do has tremendous value and it's worth every penny, if you don't truly believe that, now saying you believe it's one thing, but your subconscious, if it doesn't believe it, will show. Now you can fake it till you make it. There's training for that. But one of the best ways to do it is to dissect and break down the financial aspect of that and understand, wow, this is very expensive. When I come out and change a capacitor for $350, I'm not charging $350 for a part that's a fraction of that. That's consumer mindset. And when you carry that into the interaction, or your technicians do, it affects the relationship. That's where the distrust comes from. They have no idea what these services cost. But what they do have an idea of is human nature. People deal with people all their lives. Women are really good at this. Women will tear you guys up. They'll see right through you. You must have that confidence. So if you want to be successful in your sales and in your technicians being successful in their interactions when they give the customer that price, then you must provide the back-end training. Let them see under the hood. Let them understand how expensive all of this is, and that what's built into every price, and that the money just doesn't magically come from nowhere. It comes from that customer. Just the cost of doing business. I mean, they have no problem paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for a house. They have no problem paying tens of thousands of dollars for a car, right? But when it comes to something that they were a part of putting together, unless they can pull back and see the bigger picture and how all this stuff comes together, they're not going to believe it in themselves. They're not going to have that confidence, and they're not going to have the success. Now, there's an additional piece. A man who is in the market for a female, or the other way around, they're going to look their best. They're going to dress their best. They're going to put their best version of themselves out there. Why? Because they feel good about themselves. There's a confidence. Have you ever seen a beautiful, attractive female woman who, when she walks in, guys are just intimidated by? Not all guys are. Some guys are intrigued, and they're going to engage. And if they pass the test, they may have an opportunity to meet this person at a deeper level and possibly connect with them. When you're out there, you better be packaged your best. That's why branding is so important. You think your brand is good, park in the parking lot next to some of those bigger companies with their vans and their wraps, and be honest with yourself. How do you stack up? And before you think you're good, don't judge through your personal perspective. Judge from people who are not your friends, they're not your family, they're just neutral parties. And I think you'll get a different perception. Everybody loves their own baby. Everybody thinks their own baby's pretty. But when a stranger calls your baby ugly, it's probably because it is. Now, the beauty about that is you can fix this. If you're out of shape, you can be in shape. Proven fact, thin, well-proportioned technicians sell better than those of us with a pot belly. And I'm 60. What's your excuse? I'm just saying. So package yourself well. Speak with the confidence that you learned through your training and through understanding of your numbers and the value that you bring, the tremendous value that comes with that IEQ system that you're putting in. That's really helping your customer breathe cleaner air. And if you drill into it and you understand the health benefits of that, you really start to have buy-in. Once you have buy-in, you have success. So you may not be too high priced at all. Odds are you're probably not. Your problem may be stemming from in here, most importantly back here, the deeper subconscious that's really controlling your body and showing how you truly feel about that price when you give them the invoice. Pete Ramsey, HVAC Greatness. I hope that makes sense. Go get some confidence. Go get your price.